Good morning, class. Welcome to Homeroom with Unc and Market Monk.
Morning, P. What's up next year?
Yeah, just I was doing a little review as well, and just yeah, I don't not everything followed the exact path we were thinking of. It never really does, but just some big stories, big ideas panned out. Precious metals, uranium, um, even like Intel. I never would have imagined that Intel would have
Yeah,
taken quite the path that it did. But just you just look at the chart, look at the flow, and it was a good one to own. So yeah, I had quite a few kind of investor mode stocks that did really well for me. Even did well on solar. I mean, I solar didn't have the full on sector wide recovery. I looked for, and I had too much end phase, and but I had quite a bit of first solar and run and all that. So um, many good moments for the year for sure.
oh, definitely looking back, can't really complain. I think this is a real first year. I think I've had a really big learning experience, and still had a good profitable year as well. Um,
Yeah.
that was a new thing for me. So gonna make me stubborn in a lot of things I do going forward. Because the market's proven to me from the guy that just stuffed money under his mattress till today that you just win over time. You win with good companies and good theses, and you just got to learn to buy the bad news, and so to speak, or how your lines are the best in this regard because you are a thesis guy. But when it's a Twitter punchline, yeah,
Yeah.
that's when you want. When everyone fucking hates it, that's when you want it. And I really seen that. Kind of keep it boring through the year. Man, I was running the last year sessions back, and I disagree with you just a little bit, Pete. Man, I called some shots. I called
Yeah.
some shots, man. Mag 7 pullback beginning of the year. Probably pull back in April around tax time. Fucking nailed that. Firework market through the summer. All things I said in the last session this time.
Yeah.
Probably didn't call the continuation of the run out of April as well. I didn't see that as well. Um, but but the staying in the bull market, because we were asking ourselves that, it was like, is this just a lower high here, or are we actually going to continue and again run it back? I was very bullish then. You the same with just the hesitancy in the January flow, which that
Yeah.
played out well. So I mean, I think that's where we start today. What do you see going forward um, from here? And I'll definitely go first on that.
Mhm.
And from a TA standpoint, um, charts are consolidating on a high or low. That's a good thing. Having destinations targets previous price ranges versus kind of the IPO looks or the all-time high charts. Plenty of that out there. Plenty of retrace range. Um, but the bigger fish, I think I've been on the Amazon a little bit of that 220, 50 SMA, yada yada yada. You could get 10, 15% out of that, but you're probably going to get a pullback and be able to DCA and probably get 25 out of it. And a lot of
Yeah.
plays are going to be like that this year for me, where we are today, you probably do have a little bit of downside, but the upside from that downside is going to be a very, very tradable range. You're going to look back on the year and it's going to be a 20, 30% move. But the overall move can be 60, 80, even 100% on some of these plays, especially when you get into the smalls. So um, consolidation and go is, high or low and go.
Yeah.
That's what I'm seeing on my side of the fence. From a difference from last year, I do want to point out that I was pretty adamant that people were going to take profit at the beginning of the year and probably around tax time as they normally do. I don't know if y'all seen it, but people were taking profit in December. That was the first
Right.
2.5 weeks of December, so I don't feel the same way because that move kind of happened a little early for me.
Uh, yes, absolutely. And I think like last year, the kind of the dominant look to me was definitely in metals, gold, the gold Bitcoin versus Bitcoin thing, and all that. And then the semiconductors and everything. I mean, one thing that stands out to me, like you look at like Nvidia, um, it's just not going to go away, right? So if you're looking for some big collapse there, or you didn't get it, under 100 or 120 or whatever, I think you have to move on from that. I mean, if you do actually want it, you have to find a spot kind of up here, and so it's one that I'm sort of interested in, kind of as a barometer or whatever. But um, you have a situation where gold and silver is still through the roof, not seeing any big signs of a breakdown there. Um, Even like old school banks, Bank of America, and all them, they all look really high, compared to where they were. So a lot of charts. I don't think you can just look back to a year from now or 18 months from now, or the April lows or something like that, and really have that as kind of a realistic
Hmm.
target. So I mean, having plausible retraces in mind and having some numbers in mind on those, I think that's kind of what you need. But it just seems to me, looking at the flow, like there's a lot that is not coming back. So what do you do? What's the next chapter? What's next? And I still do think that some of the smalls are going to give you a um, a quicker process for entries than some of these big
Yes.
things. And that's really the dominant look to me for now. It's smalls and also like smaller mid caps, um, and then when you say that, share construction, comes to mind. I mean, I'm not talking AMC that's diluted to hell, but there's a lot of quiet ones. There's a lot of ones that people don't really know about, that have a positive sector and a reason to go, and that's kind of my main focus, and it's a little bit outside of my comfort zone in that I try to be sort of rigid about sectors, but a lot of those are so fluid that I have to sort of just say, well, here's like the 10 best smalls I see, and it might have 4 or 5 different sectors in there, but I don't quite see the sector story. And then there's others that are very, very, very specific in a sector, a drone or a battery, or something like that. So it'll kind of be a mix of both. But you're gonna see me. I mean, my big shot call here is that you're gonna see me talk way more about small caps than you ever have this next year, just because that's where the setups are, and that's kind of my major idea for this year, and how exactly that all comes together. The story I see coming out of that probably will materialize over the next few months, but just going into it, that's what I see.
Yeah. Just to touch on your them good stocks, the Nvidia, the example of when do you buy and stuff, and you really do have to separate the good ones. Put the investor cap on. This is
Yeah,
something I want to own, um, and not something I'm going to manage. And I I'm early, P. I was real early, but man, I've said it in the group constantly. I've kind of maybe overstamped it, even in our process, more than I should. Um, but it's the 50 and the 200. It just is what it
yeah,
is. That's where you buy. And if you want to know which one you're gonna buy, whether it's the daily or the weekly ones, or it's the 50 or the 200, you just zoom out. It's gonna respect that level along the way, and then that you just make a plan to follow that, as locally as you can. Some of them are a little tricky, because they do have some tolerance or range, or they're not consistent. Um, but even in those cases, for me, you just buy between the two on the weekly, and, and
yeah,
and again, that's coming from an ownership standpoint. Um, if you get on the train today, you're going to be farther down the road in 3 years. That's just kind of how that works in most cases.
Right.
So yeah, I'm 100% with you on that. Is it hard? Yes, and it's really hard when you're trying to be a trader because you can't do that with the swing trades, and you can't do that with the shitty stocks and the day trades. You just can't. You can't be that. Um, I guess that open to an entry. And you do have to DCA a little bit on that level. Like Nvidia at 180, when that 50 catches up, okay,
Yeah.
because it's going to have consolidation. But if the 50 catches up, it's consolidated on that level long enough. You're Amazon, you currently see that with. But to get into good stuff, my man, talking about some smalls. Um, I do like it. I like them a lot, especially with the theses. One of the things I kind of grabbed from listening to our last year session um, was that you even like through the quantum, you seen the flow and then you did the research
Yeah.
to learn about it. And man, there's your theses are so damn good that I don't even really look for them. I just attack them when they come out, whether it's the gold or the silver or the oil or the energy. Um, what up, BE? That just
Yeah.
stuff just comes out of nowhere. And for me, that's where I hope the smalls originate from is those stories. And we've seen them
Yeah.
with the batteries and the drones. It's pretty adamant in that last session because we were talking about it then. You're not going to have the wire from the robot dog with the gun or the drone. And you don't have a wire. You need a damn battery. And that's a long thesis. It's not a short thesis. That needs technology and resources and a lot of stuff. And I've seen it play out, and even just with the EV sector, how that very similar technology takes time. And separating winners from losers from those smalls is what I'm fucking trying to get at here, P. And
Oh,
I
sure.
I,
Yeah.
I like that. That's one of my favorite. That secondary trade is one of my favorites because we have the familiarity with everything, with the company's PR, with level 2 time and sales, the how everything works, how the flow should come in, how far out are they reaching on these contracts. Just how much pullback do we normally get? Is it usually a 2 or a 3 day move? Is it a 1 day move and then we need a higher low consolidation off of a level? I don't know these things; they're just coming out of my mouth, right? But all that kind of like you have those. This is how this is gonna react. Um, the best analogy I can think of, if you're a dog trainer and you get this rabid dog, your first session's probably gonna suck. You don't know what that dog's gonna do. It's wild as fuck. The second or
Yeah.
third time, you have some expectations of what's going on, and you should be focusing on those. You should be writing those down, and you should be using those to your advantage. So that sectors, like I don't really give a. We could trade everything but crypto coins, P.
Yeah. Yeah.
and I don't care because that helps my mentality so much, knowing that this stock is shit.
Yeah.
If I get some free shares and the story continues to be good, it is what it is from there. I haven't taken many of those companies um, to the promised land or to the retirement. Like I don't have Carvana and I don't have Lemonade and I don't have Root in my retirement account. Should I? Maybe. But I do got SoFi and Hims and all that. So
Yeah.
you win some, you lose some, and you just kind of go from there.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing about the sectors and the stories. I remember ONDS, and this was about, I don't know, the summer, I think, or something. But when I first started to see it, and they were just slamming flow on this thing. I think it was like $4 or whatever.
The first
It
time,
the first time,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
That I didn't know that this was a drone stock, because when you look at the description of it that are just sort of out there, it's just wireless radio systems, mission critical business to business networks. It sort of just sounded like a telecommunications company. And then you kind of look into them, and they were that, and that's sort of what their whole thing was. But then they move into drones, and that is one thing that I've noticed in this whole process. And it's kind of obvious when you think about it that, like, someone sees an opportunity within something related to what they do, they're gonna move their business there. um from a practical perspective, sure, that that makes sense. from a stock perspective, once you kind of see some of these front loads, and then you see, oh, they're going to partner with ATOS or whatever, and they're going to do the communication from drone to drone and all that stuff. That that aspect of companies shifting into something else or emphasizing something. I mean, even someone as big as Oracle did that, and finding that is important, and seeing the news within the context of the flow and TA is definitely something I try to do. Now there are sometimes companies rebrand themselves completely where it's just the underwear company that became the EV company, like that kind of thing. And there's a lot of shuffling that I noticed happen with EVs, with a lot of those on the decline, and a lot of those that ended up delisted. It's kind of like a panic move. But when you identify the sectors that these are going to be around, whether you like it or not, and drones for that is me. Like I do not look forward to a bunch of Amazon drones flying around, and I don't really like the idea of a guy in Kansas flying around to something to go kill somebody, and halfway across the world that we decided needs to die. Like all of that's not very appealing to me. But that's kind of where the world's going. When I saw the fireworks plus drone shows, that there's a way that we're sort of conditioning people to get used to these objects surrounding them.
Yeah.
Same with robotics, and there's a very clear process of that, and so there's a lot of growth going to happen in those industries. And you mentioned it before. You got to think about all the wires in those things, the batteries in those things, all the partnerships you need, the semiconductors, the wafer cleaners for those semiconductors. Like none of that stuff's going away, and so I will continue to commit to the idea of finding the little stories within the bigger stories, because the little stories are where we're going to really make our money this year. The things that are essential for the big stories to happen, and that's kind of my main focus. So to go off of what you were saying with finding the smalls, I'm like, here's 5 or 6 of them, and then you work your process, and then we end up with a few table pounders out of that.
Yeah, I like that you brought solar up there, because that was one of the last year things I definitely dissected pretty damn well, and also used the just buy them all. The ones that all that makes sense to you.
Yeah.
And I kind of did that back in the EV days, but that was more because I was hopeful. Like I kind of like still believed in the market and the tech, and that we were just gonna go that way. So doing that, I strongly suggest everyone doing that. I mean, we're talking about ONDS here. There's probably another 5 or 6 that are very tradable. Two or three of those are probably going to be at levels that aren't coming back. And overall, I think I dropped 20 of them in my page. So you can get a good look at maybe something we missed. But it's about having that complete coverage, and not just, oh look, it's already moved 20%. The CLSK guys, so to speak, and now I'm on this ticker and I got a story for you. The story's way fucking better when you're there before and you have a really big basket of potential winners. And that's what we aim to do. That's what I hope we continue to do. I usually don't bring our page into chat as much, but I searched the group ONDS, brought it up. The first mention was in July, and we pretty much didn't let go. 618 came up right around September. Excuse me, 618 came up right around September. But yeah, it's what our system is. And then you double down on it in November, which was where I was at. Off of that, 618 flip. So it works, and it works real well when again you have that whole basket and you're not just on one wondering why the other ones ran. You didn't just buy. This is a good example. You didn't just buy space and go, man. I could have been in ASTS. I could have been in REW. I could have been in PL. You can be in all four. You can be in all four, and to be honest with you, I'm an 8 out of 10 guy, so don't take this shit the wrong way, you motherfuckers. 8 out of 10 trades, close them green. I don't care. But if you go
Yeah.
50-50 on that Lispy, you're going to do good.
Right. Yeah. And I remember Space is a good example because, we both, I feel like we would bring up Space, a Virgin Galactic, right? And we were just like, how about now? How about now? But it was always that was always a different convo than for me. It was ASTS was like the one I really liked, and then Rocket Lab was the one you really liked, and so I bought some of both of those, and then the other ones, the PL, and RDW, and just getting a piece of all of that, and then ASTS moved so much, like I didn't get the full move there, but I still was in and was buying RDW and the ones that were going to kind of take off later, and then Quantum was the same way. When you look at QBTS and QUBT, that the time at which we brought those up, like it's sort of like it felt a little bit late, but then you look at what they did, and then that's early to a level that the guys on Twitter can't even dream about. They had no clue about any of that stuff back then. It wasn't until 500% later that they even noticed them. But real quick, if I can just get you to run down, we had a few weed trades this year.
Okay.
And that's an example of needing to spread around a bit.
Yeah.
So how do you tackle a sector like that?
Well, there's only a couple I like to sit in, but then when the news come, I just short-term trade them. So, yeah. I mean, if you need it, it's CGC, obviously. I'll sit in that one. ACB, I'll sit in that one. Tilray used to be that way for me, but I let it go after the split. But when the news comes, I just buy them all. SNDL's good for, 10-20% every time. Cron's getting to the point where I want to hang out in that one a little more. Grow G, scalping. Who am I missing? I'm missing one. But yeah, there's only two. I really only like CGC and ACB from a hold standpoint. But those if you just are there, and we usually talk about this in regular voice, but one of your biggest advantages is that you're fucking there when it happens. And with the weed sector, it's usually going to be a 2 or 3 day move. So if you're there when the move first starts, usually you're okay just to short-term swing trade them or scalp them.
Yeah.
And then obviously hanging out with the other two. But no, that's a great sector to use as an example in what we're saying. If you're looking for kind of a shitty sector, right? Because you could probably use casinos and airlines and restaurants the same way. But the news, I think the news play or the momentum play is still there with the weed.
Well, the thing about news within weed in particular is that the follow through and sector permanence is difficult because every time it's gonna go get Congress will need to act in a real substantial way, and it's very hard to get that to happen because they don't. It's not even that there's a lot of resistance to it; they just don't seem to prioritize it. But you get some state things, you get favorable comments like that kind of stuff, but you can't really you can't linger in the way that you can in something like defense spending, where they're just that money's really going there, and there's a lot of it, and then you find the subcontractors and whatever. It's just for weed, it's like them having the freedom to just run their business as all businesses do, without so many hangups and restrictions and financing issues and stuff like that. That you're still maybe a decade off from that.
Sure.
And they keep kicking down the road.
Well, so. and then I think short term, long term of it. I mean, even if you go best possible case scenario or most realistic scenario in that sector, the real winners are going to be stuff you're really not going to want to hang out in or trade. And I'm talking like CRBPs of the world, because they're going to get the research money. They're going to get the actual money. People are just going to give them money when they can. So a company like that with, $150 million market cap, gets funding that triples that. It's going to change the
Yeah.
stock price just a little bit. But long term, if it's a path to where it's legal and we do have the Budweiser Chronic Light in the can and shit like that, the other companies are going to be, the price they're at right now is going to be generational, so to speak. But if you're like a 3 to 5 year guy, it's not, the rubber ain't hitting the road in that sector as fast. And
Yeah.
similar like the quantum angle, probably a better discussion than the weed stocks. But the same with the quantum, we had that big push because hey, we might need it, but actually letting the rubber hit the road on that, I mean, you did all the research on that. That stuff's so far away. And that's why the data centers came up, because that's an actual first step, or power plants or
Yeah.
energy, all that stuff came up because of where we wanted to end up, or where the first thesis was. So yeah, you just don't get that on the weed side.
Right. Yeah. And quantum, in particular too, who actually, who has equipment related to this technology, and it's your Googles and your Honeywell and IBM, and then INQ, as well, and then and who's kind of the consulting idea, pure research side of it. That differentiation came up a couple times. It came up in quantum, and certainly came up in the uranium nuclear trade as well. So that you tend to trade idea stocks and invest in you know uh, people who own things, and that was a good one too. And like IBM, I got some excellent like investor position type buys on that I still have. Whereas a lot of the quantum stuff, I just sort of
Oh yeah, gone.
sold into the fat green candles, like I say.
Nice. No, I think another small mention, definitely want to get it on record. I mean, the path for most smalls is usually partnerships or buyouts. Um,
Yeah.
so be mindful of that. Like when you do get a little bit of stagnation or something in the bigger names, that you're looking for those partnerships and those deals. And um, yeah, so I'm kind of excited for that, because that does seem like a, not a battleground, but definitely some things they're going to shore up on their end. And we kind of seen it at the beginning, BBAI, SoundHound, yada yada yada. But I think actually good ones, good realistic ones that actually do get some rubber on the road a little faster. We'll separate those this year, and that's not just in quantum. That goes for like more like the batteries,
Yeah.
probably the gold and silver side stuff too. Get a little more clarity over there, on the real winners and losers around the world. I say that as opposed to just in the U.S., because I think that's going to be a
Yeah.
big thing going forward. Um, and
Well,
then some of those boring sectors we do stay on. I think they're going to have their day, whether it's the restaurants or the casinos. Um, Airlines already moved, so I can't include them anymore.
right. Well, I think from what I can tell in markets, mania tends to be followed by scrutiny, right? That
Yeah, good call.
like you can say gold and silver, is up, and so every miner is like full send. But then what they own and their relationships with individual countries and things like that. I mean, it starts to matter, and in a way that what I look for in gold and silver is like news driven sell offs that then retrace, and that is going to happen for a lot of those overheated charts. Like I can't really draft a silver miner in this thing we're going to do, but we'll be back on some within a few months or even sooner, uh, based on what I'm seeing.
Yeah, no, and timing is everything in what we're in the little fantasy draft for sure. So
Yeah,
probably in general, not trade what you want, so to speak.
yeah,
Big. I do want to also say, before we go over there, um, lost year. We talked about it in the sessions a little bit here and there. Um, back and forth, so to speak, on the lost year. I do think a lot of those, especially in the better names, um, probably do have a little bit of a decent year because you just had a year of consolidation. Kind of had a test. Some of them had to test at a low, some of them had to test at a high and a low, and definitive range. And why that's good for us is because when we see the flow go over one of those ranges, that's usually indicative of a move. So,
Yeah.
I just had to have it on record, the lost year stock, because I do think that's gonna. It's not gonna be something January, February, but I think by April, May, September latest, somewhere in there, it's gonna be all right. These are the higher. These guys have just been consolidating higher low too long. This flow looks really good toward the end of the year, um, and it's where we go into or out of the summer for me. So I mean I've started a little early on those. The better one's probably going to move a little earlier, but overall, just that consolidation that you just need in a bearish, or excuse me, a bullish market.
Yeah.
That you're not going to see on the 1 hour charts or the 1 minute charts.
Yeah, good stuff.
So you ready for the draft, sir?
Yeah, I think so.
Man, I got about 12 total. So I don't think I'll have any problems picking them, but the order always gets me because,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I knew where you're going last year with a couple picks, but this year I really don't know where you're gonna go. So
Yeah.
hopefully I'm giving the same vibe as well. So snake draft. So I get one, then you get two, then we kind of go from there.
Yeah.
And 6 total. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I gotta get my notes down. All right, number 1 pick. It's got to be defensive. So it's got to be something I think you're going to take, and it's got to make sense to me. I'm going to take AFRMP.
Nice.
That buy now, pay later. I think in any market, no matter the market we go in, it's going to be a winner.
Yeah.
Poor people will take free money. Can we just say that? Poor people will take free money. Currently in an auto RTL, 1683, 50 SMA on the weekly, consolidating maybe over the last, let's say, 6 weeks off of that level. Kind of getting a good higher low here. The range also shows on volume profile on the 10-year. Not that this stock has a lot of history. So just a lot of good TA things here. Just hasn't let go of this 50. So I like it kind of as a I didn't say it yet, but banks are in trouble, P. There's going to be a fight this year.
Yeah.
Seen them boner candles on banks. We talked about them. Bank of America. I think it was PBR that had that weird boner candles too.
Yep.
Those are liquidity sweeps. Those banks are in troubles. There's a couple of them in trouble for me. So I just think fintech continues to do well, not only this year but going forward.
Yes, I'm with you, and you're gonna laugh at my first pick in a second here, but you want a quick flow read on a firm? Is that how we want to do it?
You can add your 2 cents. Go for it.
Yeah. So 95 is an area that really stands out, and then you get that clustering that we talk about, 100 to 150. That is not dead open interest. This tends to mean something when you have it's kind of gappy where we're at, and then it gets really tight in the higher strikes. So you can kind of look to that. A lot of that's in leaps, and then they moved into February, March. That process has happened. And that's what you want. You want the January bars either to stay the same or kind of go down a bit and move those and punt and roll, and you start to see a boxing glove emerge from February, March out to January. That's the look there. My first pick is Upstart.
Ooh, my market indicator.
Yeah. And it really has to do with what you're talking about, the buy now pay later thing. Also, this clustering in this one is a little more even. There's a lot of rungs to the ladder. That's how I would put it. Anywhere above like 60 plus.
and then 50 is the big spot where you flip 50 and there just isn't a lot to hold this back. It has this June look as well that I like. So there's a lot of structure to the move. That's kind of what I would say. And then the sector itself, I liked a lot for the reasons you're talking about. I mean, I was looking at like okay, Rent Center and like I mean all like that kind of stuff was definitely popping up too. But the great thing about a firm and Upstart with a firm in particular, like you're in a website and or you're walking around a store. I saw a QR code for a firm. I was walking around Michaels. I do all right. So I do kind of cheap little office seasonal decor. All right,
Sure.
just a little lighten up the place a bit. I like Michaels, Hobby Lobby. I walk around there, all the old ladies. I'm a little weird in that way. Whatever. But the point is that there's like little Affirm QR codes everywhere. Even there, as you're checking out, hey, would you rather just not pay full price for this right now? And it's all instant. So that they're all staying around. The neo banking, that term that came about late in the year, that's not going away either. A lot of that comes out of people struggling to get or manage normal bank accounts or wanting their pay a little early and stuff like that. So I think traditional payday loan people are in trouble too, and it's all moving online, and it's and that is something that we can get a piece of that in established levels on companies we know, and that's what I like about it. So yeah, Upstart's my next one.
Uh, my wife's an educator. Say less. Fucking
Okay, right,
37 fucking totes in my garage of that bullshit.
yeah,
Um,
right.
got a nice little higher low here. We just had it in November-ish, kind of reclaiming the 200 on the daily or the weekly. So that would be like my go-to right now as far as looking for what's respected. I think you do have a little bit of downside range, and when I say a little bit, I mean like 40. Um,
Yeah,
it fits that perfect example of what I was talking about last session. Like, you'll have 10% downside and maybe a 30% upside move, whatnot, depending on the stock. But that full range is going to be really good. So I do think you're just only critique I would have is that you're going to pay a little premium. But if you just get a retrace, another thing I like to do in these sessions is just look at the high or low on a yearly basis. And
yeah,
Upstart's a really good one for that. If you go back 3 years, just to keep it quick, 13 to 72, the next year 21, 77, and then this last year 30s to 79. So the range is there over the last 3 years to find a trade. So I do like the range and the thesis behind this pick. B.
And, yeah.
Qualifies.
Check my old. These are my old pivots, real quick. So they've been respected.
Perfect.
Buy under this line, and you do fine. And you see that downside to 40, by the way, too. Like,
Yep.
I like to buy under this line, but I've kind of I could probably draw another line there now, but you can see kind of where that's at. So
Yeah, I think one thing me and you have in common, not to get offline, is here, not to get offline, boom, boom, is we do like buying below our levels.
yes,
And some people mentally that doesn't work for them. So putting that extra line down there, why? You're just going to buy somewhere down there. You don't care.
yeah, and for me the flow explanation of it is that that this line is important. This line gets defended. By defending it, it doesn't mean that it's always going to bounce off of it.
Yeah.
It means that if it lingers under that line too long, whales have to reposition, and they don't like to do that. So if they can go ahead and juice it back up, that's and accumulate, that's what they're going to do. So it's a lot of the short term flow that comes in is about navigating positions that they already have, and that's what I think a lot of people who reflow don't understand
Yeah.
or aren't willing to put the work in to see. They only see the weeklies and maybe stuff 2 weeks out or a month out or whatever, but they really miss out on the big picture by not understanding leaps and the bid side of things.
Do you
All right, so my oh, go ahead.
just want to get a comment in there. Reminds me of Roku.
Oh yeah, Well, that'd be good.
That'd be good. You're first in the second round, P.
I don't think there's any risk taking this one. So I'm not being defensive at all. But I'll just I want to get it out there mainly because I just picked Upstart. So like I just picked the wide receiver one, the big play guy. So I need kind of the stable running back here, and I'm gonna go T-Mobile.
Oh, nice. No, I was not taking that.
And so the reason I like T-Mobile, I mean, you have this pretty sustained pullback, and you have kind of defined highs above. Very good company, and they're just really solid, and this the look to 220, and you talk about a lot of rungs on the ladder. You certainly have that here into like 250 or so this year. You also have activity spread throughout from February to June, and then into the fall. And the leaps even have some support in December buyers as well. So this is definitely a kind of a grind, but it is very plausible that this hits an uptrend. It doesn't stay under 200 particularly long. I think the 180, 188, 190 is certainly possible. Don't really mind, bleeding out another $10 and just buying over time with the move I see grinding back up to 250 or so.
Yeah, I already have in my head P 165, and I'm buying 500 shares. Just in general, I'll just throw that out there for you, and that's where the 200 kind of is. This is where my auto RTL is down here. I'm probably not getting it, but if it again, you look for generational entries on something. Fits the lost year. I don't think under 200 is happening. 240 kind of realistic target for me, which is your 1 year volume profile. Shouldn't be here. Blue chip of the sector. Probably the best blue chip as far as positioning on the chart goes. For all of that for me. Yeah. So, you're probably going to get a 20% move without any kind of need for anything from them.
Right.
If they do have any kind of, programs or things that come up and you can get above that 250, going to be a very good long-term entry for these guys. I like safe play with range. To be honest, I looked a little bit at T. It didn't make my list in the sector.
Yeah. I literally was just looking at that too.
But
that's funny.
I do like them, and I do already own them, and obviously a very, very good buddy. Has a pretty big stake in what they do. So they just went through layoffs again, which layoffs are bullish. So could be the reason for the 200 pullback also. Good stuff. What was the price there right now? GMUS.
Of
199.58.
199, yeah. So basically, my downside target's halfway to your number. That happens.
Yeah.
So,
P, my number is like 20% possible.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a high probability. It's just where I would make a pretty big investment with him.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know, to be defensive, take a little shot, or pick something that I think you might pick. But I'm going to take the one I have to have, I guess, is what I'm going to do. Oh, wait, I get 2 picks. All right, how am I going to do this? Yeah, I'm going to take this one. I'm going to take this Datadog. Shouldn't be here.
Yeah, that was a good defensive one because it was on mine. So
200 on the weekly. I'm wrong. 200 on the daily, 50 on the weekly. I just now heard about those. I think they're important. I am paying a little premium for them, but I had a hunch might be on Professor's list. If you look at our year, it qualifies as a lost year. Lost year, same price as last year. But we have 3 higher lows, or about to have 3 higher lows. Going to start respecting this 50. My range is already defined. Plenty of range back to the 200 level even. Do I think Datadog can touch my 118? Yes, I do. But that ratio still pans out for me. look at the crowd strike chart, and they had the shitty news.
Yeah.
So I like them. I like them long term. I like them just kind of on a swing trade to start DCAing here, as long as you can play down to this 120 level. But I'm getting them really cheap. They do fit that timing right now for me. So Datadog would be my number 2 pick at 133.77.
Very good.
Got anything for me?
Yeah. So I was I was about to pick this one next. I probably should have done it instead of T-Mobile, but that's fine. I had kind of a theme there, an idea that I liked of going very safe after the risk asset. Wrong screen. Sorry.
You see Datadog is a safe buy right now?
Yes. Oh, I do.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. No, I like that you say that, because you don't get that kind of comment out of you normally.
A lot of rungs on the ladder. I mean, that's kind of a term I'm going to be saying a lot. From 150 to 200 plus, and it also it's building well. February to June has that clustering. This looks almost exactly like T-Mobile did, by the way, as far as that goes. The just hitting every strike, puts dying off as you go higher, and buys from January, cycling in here. Also has some building for the fall. I like that gap. So the way the boxing gloves are going to materialize is going to be February, September, April, January. Several combo punches going on, and so I like that. And it's if you want like market maker neutral or whatever, it's about 155 is where they'll set up to move higher. So buying it down here, you could just trade it to get to that consolidation spot, and then hold what you want. So yeah, a lot to like there.
Yeah, that was definitely my defensive play. So I glad the hunch worked out there. This is the one I had to have. I probably would have took this way if we were back and forth. I probably would have took this first, P. Because I have to have it. Just have to have it. And that's DraftKings. The 200, I'm playing a little premium. Kind of fits the last year. But I've already established the 34 and 34, 35. But the short-term volume piece, just adding below that. You're not really getting below the 30, so you're maybe paying a little premium there. But their market share that they can take, and I say this as a Washington State resident, my state, as for being fucking progressive, I got to go to one of like 3 casinos to use the app. Like I have to be on their property to use the app. That's where we are. And I know a lot of states either don't have it or have some weird ass restrictions. That coupled with the predictive market also coming into play. They do have partnerships to be on the TV on the bottom and stuff. So I just think they're a little ahead of everybody, and it's not priced into the stock currently.
Yeah. So this one I do like. You were defensive. It's a different ticker, but you're gonna laugh at mine. This has a lot of that same clustering I talk about. And it's funny that the ones we keep bringing up here have this. I can guarantee, like, not all stocks have this. So this is one of the setups that I kind of have to pick any of these. And as far as some numbers go, rungs on the ladder, all that, very strong.
Puts. 30 puts, P.
Yeah. Yep. You got the 30 put wall there. 32 is a big spot. It'll put up a fight too. And then 40, 45, 50, and then some clustering around 50. So 45 to 55 is very realistic for this year. And you can see the dates jump out on that.
Is the 35 candle there to you just activity because that's the price we're around, or is that something that we clear will have a little cleaner move?
They're building monthly call positions that they plan to exercise later. That's how I read it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Because it does seem like that's resistance currently is the 35.
Yeah, I mean, you do get some calls selling off. I mean, that's your manipulation.
Yeah.
Bump
They,
it back to 32, get more,
yep.
stay in here for a while, and then move after that.
That's what me and they are doing.
Yeah, right. It's so this one has a little more risk to it, but it's pen.
Ooh, dang! I thought about it.
And the look here that's showing up, 22 multiple expirations, March, which is a little much, but June, July, like that's mainly where their heads at there. So 20 stands out, pretty huge. You have some some resistance along the way, but the 16 to 20 move has the potential to be pretty smooth here, and it's just way oversold. It really, realistically, you look at the picture in leaps, the trade's like 2250 to 30. That's sort of what they're after long term on this. So even like getting back into 20, where those positions are back in striking distance, seems to be kind of where their heads at there.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely gave them a very, very hard look. I like them. I'm definitely in the position as a long-term swing trade. Um, Downside's kind of hard to define, and the reason for me I went with DraftKings instead of Penn was just because I think the story takes a little longer to pan out here.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it's not tradable. Doesn't mean it won't have 40 to 60% range this year with ease. I just think there's a little cleaner path, especially when we get through some chart levels here. This for me probably 15 problem, 18, 20 problem, and then we get clean. So just a little bit more of a bumpier path. But great price point right here. You got to really get entry on this one. So hard to go wrong. And sometimes that's a good entry will keep you out of bad trades. So I do like this a lot.
Yep. So I'm up. I got another one.
Yeah, back to back.
Okay. QS.
Oh, Quantum.
Yep. So this is the
that's 1173 and 975 channel. Sorry. Don't have to look at the chart.
So 15 and 20. I mean, those are the ones that stand out. And so it's clustered kind of around February, and then the leaps at 20, leaps at 20.
Bring it up.
Oh yeah, sorry, I'm on the wrong screen.
There we go.
All right, there we go. All right, so it's 15 and 20 stand out. You get some 17s and 18s, decorations. But here's your field goal. I mean, I guess that'd probably be the most apt description of what this is. And so it's in February, May. They're taking their shot at 15, and then leaps at 20. The 2028 leaps, some of those are at 30. So sure, why not? But the main thing I'm after is a move between 15 and 20. Hit 17 or so, and probably would sell most of it. You surge through 15. I'm definitely peeling off some, but that's what I'm looking for here.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, another one that's kind of active currently. I didn't pull the chart up yet though, but yeah, I gave the levels. That's what they are. I'm pretty sure. Yep, there they are. In the channel, add good retrace 1, 2, 3, high or low. You're probably playing premium momentum with range here. A little different than what we've talked about on the first 6. I will say that. But I like it. The thesis is there. It fits. Familiarity is A+. Levels A+. Probably of the list so far, if there was like we're opening them today, but we need to say when we're going to close them, this would be the first one closed.
Yeah. It has a history for sure.
Yeah, well, and you're just going to get that retrade, right? You'd probably trade it 3 times next year really well, or trade it 1 time pretty good.
It's like when people use wife as a verb. Like, you don't wife this one.
Yeah.
You can wife T-Mobile.
This one's your current wife.
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you that? Did you ever say that to your wife? You try that one?
Yeah.
I'm at that spot where I got to make sure I don't take something and then regret not taking something else.
Yeah.
I told myself I'm taking this one no matter what, so I'm gonna do it. 456 to 778. Does that mean anything to you, P? No.
No. Yeah.
All right. Next.
Oh shit! I just posted that. And, yeah, it should have meant something to me.
456 778. I don't even call it a lost year because this channel's defined. It reminds me of Rocket Lab. I think I've said that before. We had one trade out of here. I'm not letting it go. I don't think it's done. The LNG is soon the second. I'm gonna say it here so I know where it's at. The second LNG gets connected to these fucking data centers, it's game on. The
Yeah.
second, and Cat, you can go look at Caterpillar right now. They're pumping out or natural gas generators specifically because they have customers. Who are the customers? They're these people that want to start data centers in the middle of fucking nowhere. So
Yeah.
probably a stopgap to the nuclear. But man, where's it at? Where's it at? Pounding the fucking table right here, boss.
Yeah. Did I lose you?
No, it's your turn.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I did lose. I lost like half your last sentence. but-
Oh, I said I was pounding the table, and I pounded the table really fucking hard.
So yeah, this one, I would not be dismissive of the 15 blow up here, out in your leaps, but yeah, 7 to 10 is kind of what they're after. You might bump up against 6 a couple times, but it's built enough in February surging. You've got your April, and then out to January. So February, April. There's your 7s, and then your 10s. January, your 15s. The next January. So very clean look from my end. Natural gas burns clean, flows clean. Love the sector, love all of it. So very good one.
Nice. And for me, we've been on it, so
Yeah.
that's also stay on the winners, so to speak. What to do here? What to do here? What to do here? I got 3. I got 4. I really want to take, and I got 2 spots. So a little trouble over here, P. Do I go safe or do I? Nah, screw it. I'm gonna steal one from your list last year. There was 2 I was thinking about, but this one I gotta have. Etsy.
Oh, nice.
Last year. 55, 36 is your 10-year volume piece. Your short terms are close to 54, 55 short term. We have the 64 that has just been respected. Look at the weekly. You can see it. We did get above it once, but didn't flip that support and resistance on the 50 on the weekly. I just don't think there's much downside to this stock. This and Pinterest, I just think can print money if they do things right. We do have the 70s to go off of. Even that move is close to 40, 45%. So even the retrace is good enough for me. Also, I don't like saying it because it's so low, but $100 test, $100 stock, very, very possible here in the right conditions. Etsy would be my next pick.
Very good. Yeah, I like them a lot, and it's funny how our sectors line up in some ways back and forth here. When you see my next one, but all right. So the 85 is an area that stands out, and you have this clustering of strikes up to 100, and then a little beyond that in leaps. But 70, 65, 70, 75. And the way that 70 very ask side call dominated, that means a lot. And then I like this. You got March, June, a lot of activity there. So between March and June is where it's going to set up to try to move higher and get some of those leaps profitable.
and those leaps sit anywhere from 95 to 110. So I like it a lot.
Perfect.
Chewy for me is
Ooh.
next.
All right.
And it's built long enough and strong enough at 32, for me to really like it. And you've got 35, 37, 50, 40, and kind of clustering above 45. And so that's kind of what I'm after. And heavy activity in March. So of the setups, I look at a lot of urgency on that to be, 35 to 37 by then, and then looking to move to 45 plus after that.
Yes, actually, it's current DCA December list for me. The two fintechs and this were on that list, so you're not gonna need to sell me too much on them. I like them of the sector ones. I do like them the best from a TA standpoint. Business model also good. 42 would be my top test, or looking to clear that for any follow through. But that range in itself, from where we are today, is a pretty good trade in itself. So 25-30% range just for the test, and then any follow through could open up pretty good range for me. You get into if you do clear the 42, 50, 60, 70 can come pretty fast.
Yeah.
On this one. So not that I think we get there through the year, but I do think that's the path for this stock long term, which is why it's also on my swing list currently. Love them. It's not anywhere on my notes, P, but it was definitely a high probability, high mention for me in general. So yeah, good stuff. I'm surprised you're on it. That's the surprising pick so far.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So then,
Mr. Irrelevant.
yeah, I this one's a little scary, but I think it will work. So see what you think of it. RZLV.
Oh Jesus. Okay.
Yeah.
They do aren't they? They're the AI adjacent, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
They're
okay.
AI software company. Real heavy at fly at a 5, and not the easiest read per se, but February's huge, so we're gonna know pretty early in the year how this one's gonna go. But it's heavy to 5, leaps to 10, so it's very very explosive. Downside's a little trickier, like 250 maybe ish for me, but so very explosive.
It's got the IPO chart, so not much for me. $3, kind of. If you're looking for a pivot, which is where we are.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, as long as the trend stays and you hold this level, you're fine. You do not want to get where it checks back to say 230, and then you go 270, and then you go 215, you go 250, because there is some downside in that. So news dependent, good lotto. It's funny that you took the poopy penny, and I'm over here with pretty much one on my list that I don't want to take.
Hey,
altogether.
I'm coming off a loss.
That's true.
I gotta take a shot. So
Hey, what was my last pick last year, P?
I didn't get that far in the video.
You.
Oh, right. Yeah.
It won the whole thing, so don't sleep on them last picks. I can be a little. I got the last pick here, number 6. I can be a little foretelling in what I had on my list now, because you can't steal anything. I'm gonna drop all these anyways, but some outliers. OKTA I had, Paramount PSKY I had, Jack, Red Robin, and Kava I had on my list, but those probably don't make it here. If I was gonna go your angle with the shitty penny one, I would go Bumble right now. But I don't have a good enough thesis, and I told myself at the start of this video, start of this year, kind of in my resolutions, like if you got good stuff, go there first. Just stick to the good stuff first.
Yeah.
So I'm caught between a current swing PayPal, which is in my list, a super safe play with Dow, and Elf, which I think is $100 stock. Um, so that's where my head's at, and I kind of gotta know who I'm playing against. Um, so I think Dow's out of the question for me because I don't think a safe pick wins here. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna go Elf. I think I really am gonna go Elf, just
Nice.
because it's given me nice consolidation, and I just made that decision right there with you guys. So it's just giving me this really nice consolidation down here. 139, very respected. So I'm hoping you have something in that up there in the flow. Do have a higher low, have the lost year. To be honest, the TA is not great, but it has like the target look. It should not be down here. Um, Becky Basket needs to be represented. Uh, a bigger name in general, overall in the industry. So, um, yeah, I think we just get the retrace here, and if we get a full retrace, it's 100%. So, kind of risk reward play for me.
Yeah, so I'm posting a post-it real quick in our page here. You're gonna see Elf on it. So that was under high consideration for me. Lot of history here. Was a big table pounder into its first big surge, and so the retracing a piece of that is going to be pretty significant move. The clustering here is from 120 above. That's good. 90's a huge spot. 80's where it's going to set up from, and it's going to get your field goals 90 to 100, and then if it can hold that, it'll go much higher and move very quickly from 100 to 120. So if you catch that, that's going to go there. So it has all the flow setup I look for. Clustering of activity February to June, like that as well. Leans pretty heavy on February, March, so there's some urgency. So checks all the boxes for sure.
Nice. Do you want to? I kind of gave a quick overview there as I went through my last one. You got any draft leftover mentions?
Yeah. So 3 I'll talk about. Wings, the first one.
That almost made my list.
It's gonna be on some lists here, just on our week to week work. It just hadn't quite moved enough out of the January activity for me to make a move on it. Looking to see what shapes up for the summer, but you do have March 270 is kind of the spot. And then, I mean, this really does have range to 400 or so if it gets moving. And once it does pick a direction, it tends to keep going. So, I has everything I love about the float and share construction and all that stuff too. So, chicken wings are not going away anytime soon.
I didn't want to pull the chart up because I want to say it before I pull the chart up, but it's another one of them ones sitting on the 200 on the weekly.
Oh, nice. Yeah. And SE was another one. Tended to not want to do an ADR, but this one, 150 is a pretty important spot for it. And then you get this massive clustering, 180 to 220 plus. Definitely has some potential there, and it has the concentration of buyers February, March, and then into the fall, December, etc. Just didn't really have a good downside spot, so that's why I didn't choose that one.
Good call, P.
Very tradable though. See that.
I'm surprised that I don't know why it clicked here. Unc has a weird brain, but I'm surprised ServiceNow wasn't on your list.
Oh, it's just too soon after the split for me to have a clear
with
picture.
Yeah. Um, no, I do like Netflix too. By the way,
Netflix is the other one that's in a good spot on the Mag 7 that I mentioned earlier and didn't mention
yeah,
it, but it's coming soon. I mean, I like Amazon a little better, but if you're buying Netflix right now, I don't think you're in a bad spot.
yeah, absolutely. And then two other quick ones. Play was the other restaurant
Okay.
I've done well with. Considered. Probably needs a couple more months to build, and
Sector,
then it's going to be a big one for us.
whole sector.
But yeah, Shake Shack too, by the way.
I mean,
And then,
you said Wing, Play. You just mentioned Shaq. I said Kava, Red
yeah,
Robin, and Jack.
yep.
I mean, it's there. It's just the timing's not there.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what the hell goes on with this one.
Wendy's. You know what I've
uh,
noticed with this one, Pete, is they are selling the burgers in the Fred Meyer, and they are selling. There's another spot I seen them too. It's just like Wendy's shit. And I'm waiting for the Frosties to be in the ice cream section, which all that tells me is some private equity firm has got their hands in there and selling the label. Um,
yeah,
Not
yeah,
necessarily bad, but that cycle you need to get the profit out of back into the earnings per share from those kind of moves. The front end of that probably cost you a little bit of money to set it up, right? You know, you went from
sure,
selling
yeah.
burgers to a store in a box, and now you have this nice package with the Wendy's chick on it. Trying to sell the same burgers to me to grill on my queue.
Yeah, I mean, I've been buying under 10 for a long time now, and well, not I mean a while now, and we'll just keep doing that. But I have a limit on how big that position will get.
Yeah, that's the best way to do that. Give
Yeah,
yourself time and give yourself a limit, and you'll learn from the doing that enough. You're probably you do. I'll say it this way: you do better in the positions where you don't reach your limit.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And so the last sector there's a couple I could have picked, but I really I almost went with an oil company, um, and Devon was the one
Ah,
for me.
you mentioned that last year in the thing.
Yeah, yeah. But here's the deal: like $32, like that's my spot. I buy it
Yeah, with you.
at an under,
Yep.
so I can't really then list it at 38 comfortably as like here's my fresh pick on the. It's
You can, but your upside needs to be $24 from there, and it's not.
yeah, right. So it's I already have Devon's locked up on a long term contract with me, so I'm not really worried about my Devon position. But I also didn't want to add it fresh to the list. But yeah, I mean, $50 in leaps. It's just not a real not a real smooth path. I mean, just real quick about oil. So I know a lot of Texas Tech people. It's
Sorry.
yeah, right. It's West Texas, and it's not like it's that close to Oklahoma, but we were in the same conference, and then I just know people, fraternity stuff, whatever. But yeah, a lot of those guys they're a little worried because they're putting all this money into sports. It's all oil money, right? And now they're like, we're grabbing all this Venezuelan oil. They're like, what does it mean for Texas Tech football? Like that's
Oh,
kind of
jeez.
their whole thing. But yeah. Anyway, so there'd be some bumpy spots in energy and oil, but with the U.S. getting a bigger control and weakening the OPEC cartel a bit is actually good for oil. Even if the price stabilizes in the 50s, then that's fine too, as long as there's some clarity. But I don't think your gas will get cheaper up where you're at. But
No, it's taxes.
yeah,
No, I like them. I'm in them. Took your advice on the 32 area.
yeah,
Not the biggest position in the world for me, but good exposure to the sector. What you said last year, pretty much perfect and a good addition to it this year, because you basically said you'll probably have a longer term thesis or be buying at lower levels, and um, yeah, kind of played that way throughout the year.
yep. All right.
Well, that's any.
And
You got more? What else you got?
yeah, I mean, so a couple like this one. If we had done this session a couple weeks ago,
Yeah, I knew that was coming.
SKYT.
And it's kind of
Just you know, it worked several times now, and it's just on. It's back into the. Could have some follow through. Could sell off half that candle. I don't know, but yeah, done very well with Skywater Skeet, and it give you the flow look real quick on it. You probably will see this one in my notes going forward.
Twitter likes it.
Yeah, it runs to 35 and leaps, and you. So sometimes when I'm like, oh, there's no puts. You get to a point like I wish there were some puts. So like I got to get some sold puts at some point, or it's just gonna continue to fly through this 16 to 20 and punch through thing a couple more times. But yeah, you want some puts to start to show up. That'd be the main thing I'd look for there. And then just lastly, Poet. I don't think I needed to put Poet on the list, but I'm gonna keep talking about Poet. Poet still. Follow through after that to 15 and 17 in 15 and 17 in leaps. 12 starting to show up. April is the spot, and then leaps after that. But yeah, Poet will stick around for us too.
I like that a lot. I think I want to do maybe like a mini session once a quarter.
Yeah,
where we maybe just do like 3 picks each. These are the ones this quarter, because that timing is very important, and I think we do nail the bigger picture a little better. So maybe incorporate that with our sector look. How we do it, kind of try to get a monthly sector look in.
Right.
Because it's just that, and looking at last year's list, man, it couldn't have gone wrong. For a first list, it was very good. I learned a lot from it. Just kind of doing it that way and sticking with the plan a little bit longer. Really paid off. So again, that's where I'm going a little bit more. So maybe we'll do that Q2 when the quarters switch and everyone's talking quad witching. We can talk quarterly picks, so to speak.
Nice. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, the quad witching.
Yeah, what the fucking fuck is that shit? Final thoughts. Let's get out of here.
Yeah. So gonna bug you about crypto soon.
Sweet.
I saw you listed a couple.
Yeah, about to say, did you not grade my notes? Did someone else do that? Your teacher assistant do that?
I picked out the one out of yours that I liked the most, and we'll kind of go from there. The way that MSTR sort of decoupled a bit from crypto move, and I want to talk mechanically about that one, and then coin. I've been waiting on 220. Got into the 220s for a minute. So yeah, a lot of good stuff there. I mean, of the only one that's allowed my investor account is probably coin, but yeah, that's gonna be. Look forward to talking about that sector, and then metals a lot more. Periodic table not going away. Rare earth, all that stuff. I mean, the rare earth story that the U.S. found this element. Like, my whole thing is like we've always known we've had this stuff, but it's just it's dirty and expensive and messy to do our own. But yeah, us getting independence there will be important. And then lastly, real quick, geopolitically, what South America? I mean, what do you think about revisiting some of that stuff?
Yeah, no, I mean, you kind of pointed everyone in the right direction. Like we already did a session on it. Just go revisit that.
Yeah.
I have a list, and I think we've kind of took jabs along the way on certain ones to stay updated. So,
yeah.
Short term, I don't think it's going to be there. like people are anticipating.
Yeah.
But you'll win in the long run on those, especially as it becomes a little more clear. We're still waiting for Ukraine to come clear. Let's just start there. And great point about, I call it recycled news. I see it all the time, but yeah, you really do got to separate that stuff that we've known for years that's just recanned, or a story that's a month old that was just recanned. Because
Yeah,
I mean,
mean,
because they know, and that's who you need. You need they to get interested to really have movement. Retail ain't gonna move a lot of that stuff. Retail doesn't even know about that stuff.
right, and I think with energy, one of the big perceptions is that this will be bad for Canada in particular.
Yeah,
Um, and so I think you look for overreactions. I will say that the bullish aspect to this to me is that Halliburton has this setup brewing, and Halliburton's always on the insider on the dirty side of imperialism with oil. So I mean we've saw it in the Middle East, and they'll have their hands all over whatever's going on here. So
not to get too far out into that, P, but the comparison to Afghanistan, Iraq, anything over there, Ukraine, Libya, Sudan, all that stuff. The main difference, and I posted instantly in the group about it, the information about it, is the exposure to Venezuela is already defined.
yes,
Exxon,
yeah.
COP, and all them are already there. It's not a rush to a new plot of land. In most cases, it's getting money back. Even Goodyear has a stake down there that they're going to reopen up. So there's certain, Kellogg was on that list as well. So there's a big list of companies that already have the discovery rights, so to speak, to Venezuela. It's how it affects the rest of the region that I think really moves things. And again, that's not going to happen overnight.
No, right, exactly, and I mean it Dole, the OG of banana republics. We could,
Yeah.
talk about them too. Yeah, and I think that it being in this hemisphere actually it does actually matter too.
Yes.
Just,
that's more important because it's
Yeah.
just cheaper to get those resources here.
Right.
So it's a better outlet for us. It's cheaper for them to ship it to us than to China or Russia. And that's a big thing about the Middle East that people don't understand is it's a short trip to those countries. So getting it to us, you really got to fucking like us if you're giving us a deal. I
Yeah.
mean, it's not a good setup when you need stuff that's way closer to an enemy than it is to you. That you really don't even need ships to get it to them. You can do it by rail even. It's a whole different ball game. So having that close, yeah, no, it's huge. I think it's huge. I mean, there's also, if you look into Venezuela and just on the oil side, it's some dirty ass oil. It's not the cleanest oil in the world.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah. Yeah. All
it's,
my oil friends talk about that. Yeah.
yeah, it's just closer, and
Right.
that sometimes is more important. So.
Yeah. No. Yeah. With you there. The China trade, we
Yeah.
kind of have the playbook for that, and I think it's a little early still, but India will play out as an investment, but not the BRICS angle. That's kind of my thinking there. They want to be a little more closely aligned to the U.S. than the whole BRICS setup, is structured to be. So you've seen Apple move to India quite a bit, and so you'll see some things there. I don't know that I'm that interested in Indian ADRs or anything. I just mean the American companies,
with
relationship.
exposure.
Yeah. So yeah. Be looking
Yeah,
for
well, you
that.
got to break up BRICS somehow, right? You got to take a couple letters out of there and get them on your side, or we're in trouble. So.
Yeah, and that's the one. I mean, it's not Brazil. It's not China. China obviously is important, but you can't really leverage China very, very well. I mean, they're the ones who match up against us the best. But India, you certainly can.
And the Saudi Arabia is the S, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the other option. Those are really the only two options, the I and
Right.
the S.
Yep.
Perfect. Awesome, Pete. Well, man, have a good year, sir. Probably
Yeah.
a good time to say appreciate you, appreciate the room. Love where the process is at. Very, very hopeful, looking forward. Because we know a little bit more now, and we were good when we knew less. So we got to be better when we know more. And
There you go. Yeah, and I'll be back at it this week. Normal schedule, normal output. I was around for the holidays, but it's just I posted what was there, and
yeah.
it's just a different process to wrap up the year. Everybody's gone. Interns at the controls, so don't really want to lean too heavily on that flow. But yeah, I think we'll be back at it this week for sure.
Yeah, if you needed to trade between the Christmas and New Year's just because you had time, you need to reevaluate what the fuck you were doing. Send me a message.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
All right. Appreciate the time as always, P. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the room.
Sounds good.